But in the case of fuse fail block U, there's only one other situation. What is it if the breaker is closed and all the currents are low, below the detection level of the current, and you have all the voltages greater than UCL for 60 seconds, and then a fuse fail occurs after 5 seconds, this will trigger the block U. So what does this mean, sir? This simply means that if your breaker is closed and there are no faults and no load is being drawn from your side and the voltages are stable for a full minute, 60 seconds, after 60 seconds, if it detects an imbalance in the voltages, it considers this a fuse fail condition and triggers the block U. Let's try this. It's very simple. What will I do? The current cells are at 0. Okay, I will inject a binary input. Here, I injected the binary input that is for the breaker close. I will not inject currents. Okay, you will inject healthy. All the voltage is greater than UC. Okay, but after that, when you create an imbalance, what will happen? The block U will trigger, right or wrong? Okay, I want to check this with the output contact stop to see, or maybe not, I can just check my timing here, but I will check after 5 seconds. Can this function be operated easily? Yes, it can, but there might be some conflicts that can occur here in the menu. All quality is greater than UC, and at the same time, you have a 0 sequence present here. Previously, for example, you might have had a high UC. So when you create a 0 sequence, you find that you are trying to lower the phase, and the phase quality becomes less than UC, so you don't need to consider it. Is that clear? That's one thing. The second thing is now when I actually lower it, you'll find that the model above starts working. For example, look here, you have this. If I achieve, for example, 66.4, and this is 66.4, and this is 66.4, and an exam like this. All right, regardless of the break thing. By the break thing, you then lowered it to 55. I'll lower it to your phase fill. I was wrong in the logic above in the closed one, which will work. So what will I do? I will have to go here to the settings. Of course, first, I will change a few things. Here, I will first go to my settings and turn off the online. The first thing I need is to put a binary output here on the block. I have another binary output, which is binary output 2. So I will connect the hardwired channel and choose binary output number 2. This is what will reach the fridge. I will go to the parameter setting and do the parameter. Setting repeatedly and consistently, and do the parameter. Setting continuously and persistently, and do the parameter. Setting consistently and persistently, and do the parameter, setting. 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 Come here to the training session and do what exactly, is it right or ID that we need to focus on? Yes, okay, I will just pause the video for a brief moment until it sends completely. Okay, it has sent successfully. Really? Okay, we will turn online again shortly. Very nice. Oh, okay, I will come and turn it on. Again here for the team. We will redefine the input to CP close. 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 Close, and then my lord, make it 0. Okay, very nice. After 60 seconds, what is supposed to happen? If it sees after these 60 seconds, it will show me the first. Then after 5 seconds, right? Or am I wrong? Very nice. Okay, I can hit them with a stone, meaning what should I do? At first, we are actually in a phase, but focus on the good. Look, sir, if you inject all the efforts for 60 seconds, that's an indication. We said the 2 at the beginning on the left means an indication. If the 2 are drawn at the end, it means a stop indication. If you inject all the efforts correctly and equally with each other after 60 seconds, if it sees a 0 sequence, and the 0 sequence is present for 5 seconds, it will trigger a block. Meaning, the total time is 65. If you made just one page with a phase fail, here it's 55. The total time that will come out as stopping means I made a stop here and gave a stop here and connected my output contact. So the total time that came out with me was 60. Why 60? Why are we here? At 60, because look here in the logic. There is no current low, no breaker close, and all efforts are greater than Cn. which is 70% of the 60 efforts, of course, which is 46 and a bit. And at that time, some people had a phase fail, so those 5 years actually passed, while those 60 were passing. Those 5 years actually passed and one came out here. So as soon as the 60 finishes, it gives you a 1 here, and what comes out? A block comes out immediately. So we will see the initial part, the initial test, bytes, and then we will see what? We will see the other cases or how they address them again. "45 seconds is approximately about 50 seconds. Precisely and exactly 60 seconds, right? We stopped exactly at 60 seconds, exactly 1 minute. If I want to test 60 plus 5, I will put on the first page 66.43 phases, and this means that everything is correct. I will put on the first page 66.43 phases, and this means that everything is correct. I will put on the first page 66.43 phases, and this means that everything is correct. I will put on the first page 66.43 phases, and this means that everything is correct. I will put on the first page 66.43. So we see, this first page will finish the 5 solid 60 years of the first ones. Come on, it's almost 40 years after that. Count exactly a full 60 seconds on the first page. You know, this is indeed the second page. He saw a view for 3 whole seconds, and then what? Stop right there. He didn't stop here at all. Wait just a moment now. Oh my goodness, why didn't he see that beautiful view? The first page is 60, 60, 60. It means those angles are quite different. But here it's 6 at 0 current, and here it's 5, 5, 5, 6, 6, 6. Let's see again. I'm just pausing because we don't have to wait the whole second. Sorry, I mean we don't have to wait the whole minute. But it's okay, let's wait together. No problem. After 5 seconds, let's see what happens. After 5 seconds, it did a stop. Okay, so now we know how to get one 5-second interval and confirmed it. So for 60 seconds, we can confirm the story of the story of the planes that I have currents higher than 0.05. For example, we set it to 0.06, and that's it. It told you the first current is gone because we only have one phase. We will create a manual page 66.4 and inject a current of 0.06, but we are just measuring and closing one phase. We don't intend to do a phase fail, 66.4, but 50, or 55, but we are current in them. The first assumption, of course, was that after 60 years it would stop me. But here we are at 0.46, so for him, it's not a current issue. If I tell him, he won't stop the team. greatest. If you reduce right, I made it like A. Exactly the same situation, here we are again. It will work with you normally. Exactly after the DR, it will stop us. Sorry, of course, I know it's a few minutes and a quarter, but no problem, also so that we can see it in education. This is the second part. The VTMCB uses the Z block and the U block and contains a timer. To return the prism to a correct timer, the VTMCB does not use the Z block and the U block, say, until after 150 millihours. We will try the VTMCB after we finish this part. After how long? After 150 milliseconds. The VTMCB, after the Algerian finished. As you do the same situation, but transfer the current to 0.5. So all the current is for me, and then transfer it in the BAM to the single stop fridge. Just like that, everything is set correctly for me. I'll come here again, stop here with my debugging, come here, remove this binary input and connect it to the VTMCB trip. Just a moment, please. No, undo. I will remove it from here and connect the VTMCB to the binary input. Save. I have reached right to IED. Now we use the on this. After that, the relay starts, and when the relay starts, something will appear in the lower menu. You will maintain the VTMCB connection. We notice that there is a signal preventing the fuse failure. And where does this signal come from? It could be in test mode or where the block comes from. The signal called block is at 1, so the fuse failure is built on you. Or the signal called block trip comes. So this jail, we know it as a delay timer. Then you go to off delete, it comes up here with 1. So it prevents you from seeing fuse fail, or block Z, or block U, or the 3-phase, which is good like that. And after this, jail disappears with the off delete timer after 100 ms. It comes back again, allowing fuse fail to start seeing work, right, like that. But at the same time, if I originally had a fuse fail for block U, or block Z, or block U, or block Z, all of them come to give you signal 1. So if you request here a 0, it prevents block trip from blocking the phase. What does this mean? Look, the input called block trip is written in the manual as intended to be connected to the trip output of any of the protection functions included in the IED. Should it correspond to the output of the motors, the cord? And or trip from external equipment via binary inputs, meaning all the protection functions you have that give a trip, you gather this general trip contact of yours at the end, or this general trip virtual signal, and connect it to something called block trip. So it tells you when this block trip is activated for a period greater than 20 milliseconds. Without seeing any phase fail during this period, the operation of phase fail remains blocked for a period, which is, as you might say, fixed at 100 milliseconds. This is the low of the delay timer. Its function is, as he told you, the moment the breaker opens, it might be that the opening of another breaker causes a trip, for example. Cause imbalance condition for which the fuse failure might operate, meaning at the moment it might then be an opening of a breaker, for example. Any step might cause a change might occur. Any step 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 might occur. Which is like the block And the service is fine up to this point. So this is the story. He's telling you, and there's no conflict. Because if you originally saw a win in the file, then the OR gate, which is block Z and block U and services, all bring you a 1. And in this case, the 1 flips to 0 in the block flipping, which is unnecessary. But if things are just normal and a fault occurs and a blessing comes to open, an imbalance might happen leading to a phase working. In this case, the block trip, if you agree on all the protection at the time of the block trip, it comes and creates an internal block on the function, so you get a 1 here. This one requests a 0, preventing the 3-phase from coming out, and prevents block Z from coming out, and prevents block U. What is block U? Of course, this is all just normal sound. All right, excellent. Let's go back to the part about the VTMSP. Quite simply here. I will run it online here. Look. As soon as I give the final MCG input, it immediately outputs the Z block, the Y block, and the U block. I take the output context from block Z and HUT block U. I take the output context from block Z and block U. I take the output context from AST block Z and block U. I take the output context from block Z and block U. I take the output context from block Z and block U. I take the output context from block Z and block U. I take the output context from block Z and block U. I take the output context from block Z and block U. I take the output context from block Z and block U. On the fridge's handle, that is located in the kitchen. So the MCB trips continuously, taking my output code, whether it's block Z or block U, and I connect it here to the binary input of the team. Excellent. I will say that I will load 2 pages, of course. I mean, I will load the first page, and I don't need a good or a card. It's not my concern right now. Or, if I'm working with the VTMCB, it's not my concern at all. And on the second page, the same thing. When I scan the first page, and let's assume in the imagination of the first page, as you can see on the second page, I will do a stop when it opens. Sequence of the first page. Let's assume. In the imagination of the first page, as you see, block Y comes out and block Z comes out. Both are coming out. Right. So on the second page, I will do it when this opens. So I tell him that this universe must change after 1,000 years, meaning the binary output coming from the fridge that went as a binary output VTMCB will open after 1,000 milliseconds like the first page. Thus, the binary output coming from the fridge lab will open after 1,000 milliseconds like the first page. Thus, the binary output coming from the fridge will open after 1,000 milliseconds like the first page. It will open after 1,000 milliseconds like the first page. The binary output coming from the relay, which is from block U and block Z, will remain as it is for 150 milliseconds, then reset. So we have 150 milliseconds. And then reset. That's it. The function of the VTVC is now specific. Thank God it's done. Let's stop here.